So let's talk about the price of the crude oil and what it actually means. So if you see over here, I have depicted a graph and you will see the price of the crude oil, which is fluctuating year on year. Now, if you see, there was a peak formation in the year 2008, and mainly this is due to the global recession. The price of the crude oil had touched around 146 USD per barrel. And if you see over here in the year 2022, the price of the crude oil is again approaching towards that peak and it has almost reached 130 USD per barrel. Now, what this actually means is that one barrel of oil consists of 159 liters. So, in that sense, if you really want to calculate, this is how the calculation goes. So, let's assume that $1 is equal to 76 rupees and because one barrel is around 159 liters of oil, so if I want to say that the price of the crude oil is around 100 USD, then that essentially means that the price of the crude oil per barrel is around 7600 rupees per barrel. Okay. So now if we want to see that what is the price of the crude oil. And in fact, if I want to calculate the price of the petrol on the basis of crude oil, so let's do that calculation right now. So we know that one barrel is 159 liters. So this equals to around 7600 rupees for 159 liters, which comes to approximately around 48 rupees per liters. Now, on the basis of this price of the petrol, let's add other components to it. So there is one component called as the excise, then we have the VAT, then you have cess, and there is a dealer commission to it. So if the petrol price is 48 rupees, then the excise comes to around 28 rupees, the VAT will come to around 19 rupees, the cess would come approximately around 10 rupees, and the dealer commission would be around 3.8 rupees. So if you add all of these things, then you would see that the price of the petrol actually comes to around 109.9 rupees per liter. Now, the interesting fact over here is that there is only 44% of the price which is actually driven by the crude oil prices, while the remaining components, if you see, then these are basically excise and VAT belong to the state and the central governments. And the dealer commission is something that the dealer or the distributor of the petrol would earn, and he would rely on the wages as well as the various other expenses which are incurred during the running of the petrol pumps and so on. So basically, if you want to understand that how does the price of the petrol change or the price of the diesel or in fact in any of the byproducts of the crude oil, then basically we have to understand various other components as well. And these components are driven by different other factors. So for example, if the USD currency, because the international market has main transactions are mainly driven by the US dollars, so if the USD exchange ratio changes and let's say the rupee depreciates and USD appreciates, then actually we are going to pay more. So because the 100 USD would now be almost 8,000 rupees or 9,000 rupees, depending on the price of the USD, and then hence the price of the petrol will increase. So foreign exchange is one such factor which is important. Then there is another factor which would be the government taxation and the regulations. So if the central government decides and increases the excise duty, then also the price of the petrol is going to increase. And that's what we have seen that sometimes the government, because it's an important revenue stream for the Indian government and for the government across the world, the countries and the governments of these countries tend to increase or decrease the excise and the VAT or whatever is the corresponding taxation structure to fluctuate and to control the price of the petrol or diesel. But however, having said that, during the times when the government wants more revenue, it will always try to indirect taxation by the methods of excise and VAT. Now, dealer commission is something that will again be due to various factors, like, for example, if there is a demand to supply gap, and we know that the consumer or the price of the petrol as it increases, the demand reduces. But if the demand also increases and if the supply is not able to match, then also the price of the petrol is going to increase. And there will be various other costs incurred by the petrol pumps as well as the other distributors, and this will in turn lead to the increase of dealer commission.